Here's T-Bone and Heather on Star 98.3 and 97.7 The Bay.
12 minutes after 7 o'clock, 7:12. It's Friday. You know what that means. Good times, baby, because here's Johnny.
Good morning. Man, I just had Austin Powers flashbacks when you said good times, baby. I want to be like, yeah, baby.
12 minutes after 7 o'clock. It is Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about movies and what to keep ourselves entertained with. Anything big happening?
There's two big ones, right? There's that Quiet Place and the Horizon thing with Costner.
Yep, that's right. That's the two. And so if you've got a spare 3 hours and 1 minute, Horizon, American Saga, Part 1. Wow. Kevin Costner's magnum opus. He's been on a real Western kick.
Oh, it's his thing.
You can tell that he wants to time travel back to the 1880s. But, this movie is obviously something he's wanted to do for a very long time. It's two parts, I alluded to as a part one. So the second part will be coming out, in the near future.
He's even talking about 3 and 4, John.
Well,
3 and 4.
He's not going to get it because it's. Look, this would be a great streaming movie. This is going to be amazing for people, for certain demographics. You know what I mean? It is the biggest character in this movie is the country itself. It is. You forget, I don't know about you guys, but when I think about the United States, I think immediately New York, D.C., L.A.
Right.
But the true beauty and uniqueness of this country is in the plains. It's in places like New Mexico and stuff like that. And that's this part of the saga takes place mostly during the Civil War.
Okay.
So we're mostly on the East Coast, and there's westward expansion going on. The movie follows a bunch of different families, a bunch of different. It's a saga, like it says in the title.
Right.
But the beauty of this country, I can't imagine what it must have been like for. Those pioneers that came down and they're exploring.
And they're seeing it for the first time.
Yes, exactly. And when we moved into a new house about a year ago, and we were lucky enough to find a house with quite a bit of woods in the backyard. And I know how it felt to take my two kids out in the woods and explore on that microcosm. So I can't imagine for these guys and discovering. And that's one thing that this movie does capture is that the scope and scale of this country, what these people were facing. But it is a 3-hour, again, saga.
Right.
So it's not going to be huge for a lot of people.
Too long, you think?
It's too. I think if you were to pin it down to one thing, this could have been an Oscar-winning movie. But it's Kevin Costner, who's been a 40-year A-lister in Hollywood, doing his quote-unquote magnum opus. Nobody told him no on anything.
He doesn't self-edit well.
Yeah, he doesn't self-edit well, and nobody around him had the cojones to tell him, "Hey, bud, you might
need
not
to cut that.
You might not need this 3-minute long shot of a cow grazing in a field." So that's really where the movie falls short. Is it just?
I still want to see it.
No,
ever since Dances with Wolves, did you not like that Dances with Wolves?
I have a horrible admission to make.
Oh, you didn't like it?
I've never seen it.
What?
I've never seen Dances with Wolves.
Okay,
oh my gosh.
Here's the deal.
Okay,
that and Last of the Mohicans have both been on my must-watch list for better part of 30 years.
Oh, John, you need to watch both. They're excellent.
I know.
I can tell you with Dances with Wolves, it suffers the same thing we just talked about. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie at all. It's a good movie. It would be a better movie if they took 1/3 of it out.
Yeah. I mean, there's. I used to think it was silly. There's editors out there, and one of the golden rules of editing is if it doesn't further your story, cut it out. Mm-hmm. And I always thought that was silly because, the joy is in the details. Like we've all watched deleted scenes, and it was just some little character moment. We're like, oh, this is so cool. We should have left it in.
Right.
But surprise, surprise, the professionals know what they're talking about. You have to cut it down to only things that further the story, or else you're left with a 3-hour movie that slogs in places.
Right.
If something like the RC theaters in Lexington Park, they have those big RDX theaters.
Yes.
If it's playing on there, I think that would be worth the 3 hours in the theater for sure, because you have the rumble seats, you can feel the horses.
The RCX theaters are really cool.
They're cool.
I had forgotten about the rumble seats, and until we took my kids to see Inside Out 2, and we're sitting there and it starts, and I yelped like a little girl the first time, because you're sitting there, you're not expecting anything,
right?
And but yeah, so that's Horizon, and then I was about to say Inside Out 2. And then A Quiet Place, Day One.
Tell us about that, because to be honest with you,
what a franchise this has turned into.
I don't like horror movies. I don't like horror, but the first A Quiet Place I thought was really well done. I liked it.
It's what put John Krasinski on the map as somebody capable of things outside of the office.
Is he involved in this, like directing or writing or anything, or no? He's totally out.
Partial writing credit, but he's an executive producer, basically.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, this just to refresh the story for anybody that hasn't seen the other ones or has forgotten. The Quiet Place series is about a alien invasion of sorts, where the aliens have hypersonic hearing. Basically, you can't make any sound you make, the aliens will be right on you. They can't see,
right?
But if they hear you, they'll be right on you. Which I thought was hilarious. Somebody, posting in some picture on the internet said, "What happens when people get diarrhea in a quiet place?"
Yeah, right.
Like that's a death sentence.
Horrible way to die.
Horrible.
This is Day One, so this is a prequel, obviously showing how the alien invasion started.
Okay.
The movie follows Lupita Nyong'o and oh man, now I forget his name. The new kid from Stranger Things, Eddie Munson from Stranger Things, Joseph Campbell.
Oh yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's great. And the two of them. Basically, so let me finish the synopsis. So it's the start of the alien invasion in New York City, and these two are trapped in New York City with this thing going on.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
And this is the kind of movie that, really, it thrives on its main characters. You get two different actors in there, and this film doesn't do anywhere near as well.
Oh, okay.
Prequels are always give and take from or hit or miss for me because, you rarely need them. I mean, I find that 99% of the time, when you explain the bad guy or explain the monster or whatever, it makes it less scary. So you really need to have something compelling. And I think the mixture of New York City being the place and, the chaos of them figuring out what's going on and how these things are killing them. And because, obviously at first they didn't know they had to be quiet.
Yeah.
So a lot of people lost it that way. It's just... much like the other two, even though it's New York City and it's chaotic and it's full and there's a lot more people, they still managed to make it tense and anxiety-inducing.
Okay.
Which, not necessarily a thumbs-up thing for me, because I hate that feeling. I won't even watch, like, some of the reality shows. Like, my wife, unfortunately, watches that Dance Mom show, and I hate that woman with a burning passion of a fiery hell. I hate that woman.
Yeah.
Not my wife, the lady from Dance Moms.
Good.
Abby
Lee Miller. There you go.
Right.
But I can't even watch that because I get so anxious for the people on TV. So anything like that is a little rough for me personally. But it was really good. I was surprised.
Okay,
yeah.
You liked it.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
every one of those shows, so far in this, I don't know if it's a trilogy. I don't know where they're going to go with it. Has done very, very well, and as also the critics like yourself, all collectively seem to like it. They're solid movies.
Yeah, and the first two, and they are good and they are deserving of the praise. But I almost wonder. This is one of those things where John Krasinski's pretty universally loved, and when he came out writing and directing his first movie. It's one of those things to me. It seems like, all you critics that haven't liked any horror movies all of a sudden like this horror movie and say it's
think
great.
they just like him?
And it's really no different than any other 10 other horror movies. So it goes to show like the merit is not the only thing people judge on. Unfortunately,
I gotcha.
when it comes to this.
Yeah.
But and then lastly, you have on Netflix a movie. Oh man, I'm blanking on it. It's Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman. Basically, Zac Efron plays a dramatized version of himself, right?
Oh.
Yeah, and he falls in love with Nicole Kidman and her daughter, who is Joey King. It's called A Family Affair, and it came back to my head. And it debuts on Netflix today. So Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman are in a relationship.
Okay.
Joey King is Nicole Kidman's daughter. She finds out that her mom is dating basically Zac Efron. He's got a different name, but he's a young movie star.
Right. Gotcha.
And it's a cheesy like wannabe Hallmark rom-com. but damn, he's charming.
He is.
He is.
And he's so pretty, and she's pretty, and Joey King is really, I think, a pretty good actress. So.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, all three of them are really good together in this.
And you
yeah.
liked it.
Yeah. It was. I mean, again, it's not something you're going to remember even 2 hours later, but
Okay.
it's a fun way to spend 90 minutes.
Okay.
So if Costner would have done it 14 hours.
I'd still be watching it now.
Yeah, right. Two things that well, I've only seen one, but I'm excited about seeing the other, streaming. But one thing I have and am in the process of watching, it's excellent, Presumed Innocent with Jake Gyllenhaal on... Gyllenhaal, however you know it,
Right.
on
Apple.
Apple TV. So
Gyllenhaal.
I mentioned this yesterday. We're sitting there in.
let it go, man.
No, I'm not going to let it go.
Let it go.
Far from it. So we're sitting there, Heather, myself, and her mother, and we're watching this, and it's it's a great mystery. Public defender, woman ends up dead. It starts to unravel. Turns out, oh, by the way, he was sleeping with her. Oh, by the way, he was there the night she got killed. Oh, by the way,
She's pregnant.
She's
It's
pregnant
an onion,
with
yeah.
she's pregnant with his baby. No, there's 150 text messages where he's stalking her. Things are going bad.
Right.
Every episode, it's like, dude.
And he's like, I didn't kill her.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
And you're the
are
next-
you sure?
And the next episode's like, come on, man. So it's
He's
just
holding a bloody knife. I didn't do it.
yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
So it's just spiraling down,
Yeah.
right? And I said on like the third episode, I'll bet you it's that other guy. Mm-hmm. Expecting to hear, oh, I don't know, it couldn't be him because of,
Yeah.
started dialogue. And these two chuckleheads both went, I don't know, when I read the book, and then I went, am I the only one in the room who doesn't know what happens?
It's a remake. It's a remake.
Betrayal.
Yes!
Betrayal.
It's a remake of a Harrison Ford movie, too, that everybody saw.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see it.
I forgot about that.
I think you did.
I didn't.
think we
Heather,
watched
that
it
is
together.
tantamount to watching a season of streaming show without him and not telling him.
It's exact. I was.
he does that
that
all the
is-
time, John.
I was.
Adultery of the New World Order.
Yes, you're spot on correct. I was cut to the bone.
Listen, he does that, John. He will watch a show and he will be episodes in and he'll go, oh, yeah, I just started watching this. Do you want to watch it? I'm like, well, how many episodes are you in? 6? No, I don't. I'll watch it on my own. He does that all the time, and it makes me so angry. Young Sheldon, he pretty much watched the entire series without including me on Young Sheldon. I came in late.
There's somebody that's most likely listening to this right now that is familiar with that scenario. My lovely wife.
Oh, does she?
But you said that it was okay for me to watch this, or no, you didn't say you wanted to watch this. Yeah. Right.
The other one
Betrayal.
that I will say right now, I'm going to start watching tonight, whether you're with me or not. Because
That's love, people.
Well, that's what it is. The Bear is out.
Yes.
The Bear.
entire season 3 of The Bear is out on Hulu.
I heard somebody say it's
Okay,
just
2
depressing.
Okay,
and
that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
2 was weak. I'm gonna tell you right now. 2.
He was in the locker in the freezer, and it was
That's
it was
the worst when you have a awesome first season of a show, and then the second one
Yeah.
is weak, like you said, but it's not terrible, and it's just like the third season. You're like, all right, there's 1 or 2 ways this can go.
Yeah.
Right.
You could fall off the cliff, or you could shoot back to stardom. So.
Right.
Again, I haven't seen the 3rd season,
But
so
we
I don't
like
know.
The Bear very much.
I do,
Yeah.
and all they have to do is the people making it, rewatch the first one, find the magic. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's there, and apply it to the
When
third.
the one girl stabs
Stabs
in the butt, and he didn't.
Cousin.
Cousin, right? Because he backed into her. She's like, I didn't mean to, but she had a smile on her face, like, I'm glad I did. Stuff like that, you know.
I would love to actually do a deep dive and have some psychologist or whoever figure out why it is that it's impossible for Hollywood to understand what makes movies special. You'd think they would know better than anybody.
Yeah.
But you see this with remakes all the time. You know, they remake some beloved movie and they leave out that core piece of magic from the
It's
original.
unbelievable. It's,
You know?
it's so
Yeah.
weird. Anyway,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. It's out. The 3rd season is there, so I'm going to start that tonight. You're welcome to watch. If not, you're on your own.
Please. I'll be there watching. Don't you start it without me.
Let's see. 7:26. Phone lines are open for you.